Valve has flat out dominated the PC gaming platform for years now. The Steam service has its competitors, sure, but none have quite had the goods to worry Valve. Until now, maybe.
This is WeGame. It's basically the Chinese equivalent to Steam, owned and operated by the biggest company in the history of ever, Tencent. The service only launched back in September and currently has a humble catalogue of 220 games. Incidentally, about the same number of games that has just been added to Steam in the time it took me to say this sentence. WeGame has a mix of Chinese and international titles, drawing comparisons in the industry to Valve's Steam platform, which we all know and love here in the West. Well, according to a report in the South China Morning Post, as spotted by GamesIndustry.biz this week, Tencent is working on taking the WeGame platform beyond its home nation for the first time. A Hong Kong edition of the service is now in development and will be used to target gamers outside China. Here's a quote from a Tencent spokesperson. The Hong Kong version of WeGame is now under development. This version will be available for overseas users, and we will use this platform to bring more Chinese games to the global market.
Now, GamesIndustry.biz astutely points out that this is almost certainly a response to Valve's announcement back in June that a Chinese version of Steam is in the works, in conjunction with free-to-play MMO people, Perfect World. And Steam actually does have a huge Chinese audience. Valve conducted a survey recently that revealed more than a quarter of its users have chosen simplified Chinese as their preferred language. But is Tencent's response anything for Valve to worry about? Well, just last week we told you about some new Steam figures which showed the platform has 43 million daily active users, up from 25 million during the same period in 2016. There's also been a 160% year-over-year rise in the monthly active users of VR on Steam. There was a data leak this week revealing precise player numbers for games on the platform, and Team Fortress 2 sits atop of the pile with 50 million total players. CSGO has over 46 million and PUBG has over 36 million. While some way down the list is the strictly single player Skyrim with only 13 million players. They must be good. 13 million? Okay, now. Only 13 million.
It just goes to show though, every single game above Skyrim was a multiplayer game. Skyrim is like far and away the most popular, single player only game on the list there. The point of that is that there's millions and millions of people playing games on Steam.
Good point, Mike. Good point.
So things are, of course, going very well for Valve and Steam. A bit too well in some regards, with 180 new games being added to Steam's ballooning library every single week. And plenty of others have tried to muscle in on Steam's turf in the past, EA with the increasingly valuable Origin, and Ubisoft with its own Uplay service, for example. But none have come close to emulating Valve's success and relevance. That said, Valve hasn't been challenged by any company with quite the same size and clout as Tencent before. WeGame may only have 220 games at the moment, but it could easily see a rapid expansion in its catalogue. Tencent, remember, either owns or has investments in many, many games companies, huge companies at that, including Ubisoft, Epic Games, Riot Games, Glue Mobile, and Activision motherfucking Blizzard. Tencent has its fingers in a lot of pies. And there's the fact that WeGame's catalogue has to be vetted and reviewed by the Chinese government at the moment. There is no such barrier when the service launches in Hong Kong and beyond. Neither the Hong Kong version of WeGame or the Chinese version of Steam currently has a release date. We'll have to wait and see how this thing plays out. Could be very big because of the size of Tencent as a company to begin with, and the idea that they have investments and interests in so many companies in like
tentacles all over the place.
I mean, yeah, they could have a serious effect here if they come in and try and bring WeGame to a Western audience. At the moment, it's only a Hong Kong version, but what that means is it's available outside China everywhere, like all over the world. So they could really rapidly expand their platform, which is brand new. It's only been around since September. And Steam, remember, is years and years old. Could be a big one. It's definitely one to keep an eye on, I think.
Yeah, there's no indication here that that's what they're targeting. They're just saying Hong Kong for now. They like money. They're a big company. They know what they're doing. We've learned that over the past 12 months because Tencent are one of the biggest and biggest growing companies out there now, and they are a force to be reckoned with. We can kind of assume that they're going to go global with this WeGame platform. It should have Steam kind of thinking twice about what they're doing at this point. I mean, I've always said that Steam needs, we've said it as a channel, Steam needs a good competitor to keep its business practices in check, right? Because they've got free reign over everything. They decide what they want to do, and nobody can challenge them because they've got a monopoly over the market. Competition in the market is good for the consumers because, you know, it keeps everybody honest. If Steam are doing something shit, you can always go somewhere else, and then Steam have to learn a lesson. And we see it all the time in gaming with Microsoft and PlayStation, and they always one does a thing, and then the other one says, "Oh, that's shit," and then you know what I'm talking.
I've got stuff to say.
You know, they know what I'm talking about, Mike. They know what I'm talking about.
I mean, they do have competition. You used the right word there. You said monopoly, and it may not technically be a monopoly, but it definitely feels like it, because if you ask anyone who plays games on PC what's their Steam username or whatever, they're going to have an answer for you. Everyone who plays games on PC has got Steam. If you haven't, well, bravo, you're probably doing a great job of just sticking to GOG or something and trying to avoid DRM altogether. I don't know. I can't think of any other situation where you wouldn't have Steam. It's the platform. It's the service that you use to...
You see the numbers growing, like we
it's
quoted
enormous.
the numbers.
The numbers are huge, and it represents the PC gaming platform as a bit of software. That gives you a sense of how big the PC gaming platform is itself when you just look at the Steam numbers. That is how big and dominant Valve is. And there are competitors. There are, you know, GOG is the example of DRM free. If you're not into DRM and you want to just fire up your game and not worry about having an internet connection and stuff, GOG is your solution. But then EA have got theirs, Ubisoft have got theirs, Epic Games have got the Epic Games launcher for Fortnite and whatever, and you've got, you know, Blizzard with their services and stuff. There are competitors, but it is 100% like Valve is the top dog by miles, and Steam is the top service. So WeGame could potentially be a massive, massive service, and it could have a big influence on us in the West here. We just have to wait and see.
You know, no, I appreciate, Mike. I appreciate having all my games in one place. So this is kind of another one of those launches. Like I like not having to worry about, oh, I've got that game. Where did I buy it? What app do I have to boot up before I get to my game or whatever? So unfortunately, this might be the price you have to pay for a more competitive market. RIP single launcher, isn't it?
You sound like the start of an advert then. If there's one thing I like, Mike, it's all my games in one place. Here's the pretty good gaming launcher.
So there you have it. Does Valve have anything to worry about? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Check out more of the content on your screen there. Suppose on Patreon using that link right there. I said that really fast. I'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.